Welcome back to the English Nook. I'm Maya.
And I'm Ethan. Maya, do you have a minute? I really need your help with this 50-page report. And then I was wondering if you could help me move my sofa this weekend. Oh, and also...
Whoa, Ethan, stop right there.
What? I just have a few small favors.
Ethan, I like you, but no.
No? Just like that? No explanation? No, I'm sorry?
Exactly. And that, my friend, is exactly what we are talking about today. The art of saying no.
Okay, you caught me. I was acting. But honestly, even though that was a joke, that little word no felt like a tiny heart attack.
It really does, doesn't it? For so many English learners, especially at the B2 level, saying no feels like a mountain. We are so worried about being blunt or sounding rude that we end up saying yes to everything.
It's true. We feel obligated to help everyone because we don't have the right social tools to decline politely.
And then what happens? We get overextended. We have no time for our own English practice because we're too busy helping everyone else with their sofas.
Exactly. So today, we're diving into why saying no is actually a high-level communication skill. It's about setting boundaries.
We'll be discussing how to be assertive without being mean, and why no is actually a full sentence.
I'm really looking forward to this one. I think a lot of people listening right now are nodding their heads because they struggle with this every day.
I think so too. And if you're nodding your head, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now.
Yes, join the Nook family. We're here every week, helping you navigate these tricky social situations in English. Subscribing helps us grow and helps you never miss an episode.
Plus, stick around for our word tour at the end. We're going to break down some essential B2 words like assertive, obligated, and resentment.
Resentment. That's a big one. That's the poison that grows when you don't say no.
Deep thoughts, Ethan.
I'm full of them today. Let's get into the deep dive.
Let's do it. So, Ethan, let's go deep. Why is it that for so many of us, saying no feels like we're committing a crime?
I think it's because we've been trained to believe that being helpful is the same thing as being nice. Especially in a second language, we're so focused on being polite that we become, well, people pleasers.
The people pleaser trap. It's that feeling where your brain says no, but your mouth says yes before you can even stop it.
Exactly. And for B2 learners, there's an extra layer of fear. We often feel like we don't have enough nuance in our English to say no gently. We're afraid that if we just say no, we'll sound blunt or even aggressive.
That's a huge point. Blunt. It means speaking without trying to be polite. And because we don't want to be blunt, we end up over-explaining.
Oh, I'm the king of over-explaining. Oh, I'm so sorry, I can't come to your party because my cat's neighbor's cousin is visiting, and I have to buy a specific type of bread.
Stop, it's too real. But here's the thing. When you over-explain, you actually sound less confident. You're giving people a chance to argue with your excuse.
Wow. So by trying to be extra nice, I'm actually making it harder for myself?
Precisely. You're teaching people that your time isn't valuable. And that leads to resentment. You start to feel angry at the person who asked you, even though you were the one who said yes.
So saying yes when you want to say no is actually dishonest?
In a way, yes. It's a dishonest yes. It's much more assertive and respectful to give an honest no.
Assertive. We keep coming back to that word. It's that perfect middle ground between being a doormat and being a bully.
I love that. Not a doormat, not a bully. Just clear.
But Maya, how do we find that middle ground in English? If I can't just say no, and I shouldn't give a 10-minute excuse, what's left?
It's all about the softener. We use specific phrases to cushion the blow. Instead of just no, We use I'd love to, but, or I'm not in a position to help with that right now.
I'm not in a position to. That sounds very professional. Very C1.
It is, but it's a tool that B2 learners can use right now to protect their energy. Because remember, every time you say yes to something you don't want to do, you are saying no to your own goals.
You're saying no to your pocket time.
Exactly. You're giving away your most valuable resource.
All right, I think I'm ready to stop being a doormat. But it's still going to feel awkward, isn't it?
Oh, it's definitely going to be awkward at first. But like everything in English, it's a muscle. You have to train it. Last time you said yes to something and immediately regretted it.
Oh man, just last week, a friend asked me to help him tweak his website. He said it would take 10 minutes.
10 minutes. It's never 10 minutes, is it?
Never. 2 hours later, I'm staring at code I don't understand, missing my favorite TV show, and honestly, I was starting to feel that resentment we talked about. I wasn't being a good friend. I was just being a grumpy assistant.
Because you felt obligated.
Exactly. I felt like if I said no, he would think I was lazy or that I didn't care about his success. It's that fear of being judged, you know?
I know it well. For me, it's always about social invitations. Someone asks me to a networking event on a Tuesday night. My brain is screaming, Maya, you are exhausted. Stay home and read a book.
And let me guess, your mouth said, I'd love to. Send me the address.
Every single time. And then I spend the whole night standing in a corner, checking my watch, and feeling totally out of place.
It's exhausting. And the worst part is, the person who invited you can usually tell you don't want to be there. So everyone loses.
That's the cost of the dishonest yes. We think we are saving the relationship, but we are actually damaging it because we aren't being our authentic selves.
So, how do we stop the yes from sliding out of our mouths so fast?
I've started using a buffer phrase.
A buffer phrase? Like a protective shield?
Exactly. Instead of saying yes or no immediately, I say, that sounds interesting. Let me check my schedule and get back to you.
Let me check my schedule and get back to you. That is brilliant. It gives you space to breathe.
It buys you time. It moves you out of that emergency feeling where you feel pressured to please the other person. It lets you decide if you actually want to do it.
I need to tattoo that phrase on my arm. But Maya, what if they push back? What if they say, oh, come on, Ethan, it'll be fun?
That's when you have to stay assertive. You don't need a better excuse, you just need to repeat your boundary. I'm sure it will be fun, but I really need a quiet night in.
I really need a quiet night in. It sounds so simple when you say it, but in the moment, it feels like I'm dropping a bomb.
It feels that way to you, but to them, it's just information. Most people, the good ones anyway, will respect your honesty.
You're right. The people who get angry when you say no are usually the ones who benefit from you never saying it.
Ooh, Ethan, that is a B2 power quote right there.
I'm learning, Maya. I'm learning.
All right, Ethan. We've talked about the why, but now it's time for the how. Let's give our listeners a menu of no.
I love a good menu. What's the first course?
First up, the soft no for friends. This is for when you value the relationship, but you just can't do the task.
Okay, so I shouldn't just say, no, leave me alone.
Definitely not. For friends, we use a softener. You start with a positive, then give the no, then offer an alternative. I'd love to help you move, but I'm actually overextended this weekend. How about I come over next week and bring some pizza?
I'd love to, but that sounds so much better. It shows I still care about the friend, even if I'm not carrying their heavy sofa.
Exactly. You're being assertive without being cold. Now, second course, The professional no for work.
This is the hard one. How do you say no to a boss or a colleague without looking like you aren't a team player?
This is where you use priority language. Instead of saying, I can't, you talk about your capacity. I'd be happy to take that on, but if I do, which of my current projects should I deprioritize to make room for it?
Ooh, that's sharp. You aren't saying no, you're asking them to help you manage your time. It's very professional.
It shifts the responsibility back to the person asking. It's a very high level B2, even C1 way to handle pressure.
I'm taking notes, Maya. Okay, what's the third dish?
The final one. The direct no for strangers. This is for people trying to sell you something or someone asking for a favor you simply don't want to do.
Do we still need a softener here?
Not really. With strangers, being too nice can actually be confusing. If a salesperson is talking to you, a simple, firm script is best. I appreciate the offer, but I'm not interested. Thank you, though.
And that's it? No excuse about my cat's neighbor's cousin?
No excuses. Just a polite, firm boundary. Remember, Ethan, no is a complete sentence. You don't owe a stranger an explanation for your time.
You know, looking at this menu, it's all about the yes behind the no.
Tell me more about that.
Well, when I say no to a project I don't have time for, I'm saying yes to the projects I already promised to do. When I say no to a party I'm too tired for, I'm saying yes to my own health.
That is the most important takeaway of the day. Every no is a yes to something else.
Speaking of yes, I'm saying yes to our word tour. I think it's time to look at those vocabulary bricks.
I agree. Let's head to the final stop. Welcome back to the Word Tour. This is our favorite part of the show because it's where the theory meets the tools. Let's look at the 5 words that will help you set those boundaries.
And remember, don't just listen to these words. Try to use at least one of them in a conversation this week. Let's start.
Word number 1, assertive.
This is the Goldilocks of communication. It's not too soft, and it's not too hard. It's right in the middle.
Right. Being assertive means you state your needs clearly and respectfully. You aren't attacking the other person. You're just standing your ground.
Word number 2, blunt.
This is what we're usually afraid of being. A blunt person says exactly what they think without any filter or softener.
It's not always a bad thing, but in social situations, being too blunt can sound a bit cold or rude.
Word number 3, obligated.
This is a feeling. It's when you feel like you must do something, even if you don't want to.
We often say, I felt obligated to go to the party because they invited me. Learning to say no is about breaking that feeling of obligation.
Word number 4, resentment.
This is the poison we mentioned earlier. It's the feeling of anger or bitterness you have towards someone when you feel treated unfairly.
If you say yes, but you want to say no, you'll feel resentment. It's much better to have a 5-minute awkward conversation than a 5-month feeling of resentment.
Word number 5, overextended.
This describes someone who has taken on too many responsibilities. They are stretched too thin.
If you have 10 projects and only 8 hours, you are overextended. It's the number one reason we need to practice the art of saying no.
Wow. Assertive, blunt, obligated, resentment, and overextended. That's a powerful toolkit for one day.
It really is. And now, we want to hear from you. What is the hardest situation for you to say no in? Is it with your boss, your family, or maybe that one friend who always asks for favors?
Tell us in the comments below. We read every single one, and we want to know what phrases you use to protect your time.
Also, if this episode gave you a bit of courage today, please share it with someone who might be feeling a bit overextended right now. Let's help them find their voice too.
And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Join us at the English Nook as we keep climbing from B2 to C1, one conversation at a time.
Thanks for listening. Go out there and say no to the things that don't matter, so you can say yes to the things that do.
We'll see you next time.